here, and they would not come and get those animals.
The director said there's absolutely no record of any call made.
Well, we're gonna have to do what we have to do from the standpoint of this day forward, and that's all we can handle. And one other thing that I'd like to mention in this too is that I've done all the research that I can on the possibilities of, being able to deal with the stray animals in Graham County. And it was recommended, I hear, in editorial, is go ahead and charge license fees on every animal there. But I've looked in it too, there's an existing statute that if you take in a stray, I think it's by statute that you have to go and put it in the newspaper that you got it.
I'm not sure.
Well, I've gone, I've tried to understand, and you want to go, and what I read, and I read all about the counties, right, it's not just a problem in Graham County, it's a problem all over the United States of America. And, we try to come up with it, and I want to understand what they want the taxpayers of Graham County to do. It's not the commissioner's money to do with, it's what's the solution. The ideal thing would be to have a nonprofit to open up and to go and somehow or the other chase dollars. Well, that's not going to happen. They're closing every day because they don't have the funds. I went through to find out what agencies are in western North Carolina. You'd have to drive them to Hickory and Statesville. You'd have to drive them here and there. Maybe go to another state. So I have really tried to research to find out what it is. It's a shame that there are animals out that have been abandoned, they're stray, and there are people who have a heart for them and they want to do something about it. And I want to understand what this county, taxpayers of this county can do to alleviate it. And I want to hear somebody tell me what they would like. I mean, how do we go about approaching it? And I've not had that to be forthcoming. I've heard people in editorial, and I appreciate our paper, and they're saying, well, we need to go out and have our voices heard. And I'm hearing you loud and clear, but I need to hear something about what are we going to do? Where do we appropriate it? Where do we don't have money to hire an officer to patrol the county. We don't have a facility. We don't have anybody to man it, and there it all comes to it. And then, to say that maybe PETA needs to come in and act on this, I don't know what they would say to us. I mean, they're going to tell us to do this, that, and the other. And really, personally, and my responsibility to the county, I wish there was an answer. I wish there was some way that we could put together a formula that says that stray animals will have this place to go, and to feed them, and to care for them, to put them out for adoption, and this, that. But we're talking about dollars, and I just can't find it.
When the animal shelter was at the landfill on the old road, the other side of the 4 lane, I guess it's still Andrews Road or whatever, we had no trouble. They came ever so often, once a week. They brought cages over the animals, they took dogs and spayed and brought them back the next day. And after this new outfit took over and moved to where they're at now on the 4 lane, then is when we started having trouble. If they would give us a contract guaranteeing that they would come and get the dog, come once a week or twice a week, whatever it takes to get them took care of, then I would have no problem with them. But they did not do that after they switched hands. But when they were at the old place, we didn't have any trouble. We had to buy a truck. They did have a good truck to haul the dogs in and cages to come and get the animals to be spayed.
Yes.
And neutered. And that didn't happen when they changed hands. If they would give us a contract guaranteeing that they would do that, then I would have no problem with them. And that's probably the only one that we've got any chance with.
It is. And I've looked around, and I have not been able to find another facility that's within reasonable distance.
But you go over there and you find a dog, it's costing you $100 to get.
Well, let me put my point in here, self-reliance on this animal control. I've been here a long time. All my life, I've been able to look out, see a dog trotting across the field. The dog's got no GPS. He's gonna go where he wants to. I've got dogs. They run loose. My neighbor's got dogs. They run loose. But if my neighbor dog comes up there and gets out of my cattle, I'm gonna go to my neighbor and say, your dog's running my cattle, you better do something with him, I'm gonna get it. If you don't do something with it, I take care of the problem. Dig a hole and bury it. What's the difference in me taking care of the problem myself than to take taxpayer dollars, pick these strays up, take them to the Humane Society and use taxpayer dollars to fatten the dog up and keep him a year or two, and nobody wants the dog, they euthanize him and put him in a hole. Now, which is the cheapest, a 22 bullet, or if we take taxpayer dollar and feed the dog? I take care of my problem myself.
Well, there are those, you know, that don't have that same vision about things like that, and I respect it. I mean, you have to do what you have to do. And in your case, I mean, there's law regarding, you know, taking down cattle and stuff. But, you know, there are those that have a compassion for animals, and I understand that. But yeah, if, you know, it becomes in that, and I hope it wasn't taken the wrong way when I said in the last meeting, if you take in the stray, it's your dog. You make the decision for that, and people with parks do that. They're going to take care of animals, and that's fine. And if I could find some way, and if we could reach out, and I've done the same thing, I'm asking the manager here, have you found anybody around us that would take our animals?
No. A lot of other people have the same issue that we're having.
They do. I hear
And
you.
Swain County has the same issues that we're having. Cherokee and Clay County, they contract, they have an actual contract
Right.
with Valley Road, not one that someone says we have, which, I mean, it may be there. No one's just been able to show it to me, and I haven't been able to find it.
And in larger counties with resources, they actually have county
And
county
they do.
shelters, but, you know, they have the resources.
But Iceville has them all over Iceville, and they keep up with them.
I know Cherokee County has at least 3 thrift stores that I'm aware of to help support their humane groups.
I mean, don't get me
If I'm
wrong.
not mistaken, Cherokee County doesn't pay them anything.
I think they do, but now I don't know.
It's 30,000.
Yeah.
Did you read the article, Raymond?
No,
Cherokee and Clay County paying $30,000.
$10,000.
And if we didn't have a contract, why would we pay them $19,000 at the end of the fiscal year in 2009? Or 10, or whatever it
As
was.
I said, we have one in.
And I've seen it, and I saw them up here in Ingalls when I was here, so, I mean, I don't know.
And they just quit. They wouldn't do what they said they'd do.
Like I said, I just talked with the director, and I talked to Greg, and,
I don't care.
Okay. All right.
well, I mean, you know,
Director too.
but the boat ramp was $1 million, you know?
Okay, any other comment, board? We need to move along. Okay, the next item, Mr. Manager, please.
Recommendation to appoint Mike Edwards to become a member of the Community Child Protection Team. This is a request coming out of the local DSS, Tracy Jones, social work supervisor, and Kay Phillips, the interim director.
Okay, we have a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion, second, all approved? Okay. There you go. I'll be fine with that. Okay, and this next, Mr. Manager.
Next is a request from Emergency Management Director Larry Henry to allow him and Brian Johnson to attend the fall emergency conference. It's in October, it'll be in Wilmington.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second, any discussion? All approved? Motion carries.
Next is a request for travel from Emergency Management Director Larry Henry and his staff to travel to, for a meeting in Knoxville, Tennessee, in Knoxville for the TVA Oak Ridge Safety Summit.
Is that your whole staff at the same time?
Do what?
Is that the
How many of you
whole
will
staff
there be
at the
there?
same time?
CPA requested EM, public health director, the county PIO, which is the county health director, PIO, and agriculture, ETC. And the top exercise from the 50-mile fallout from the plant. If the rest of the money is down, radiation come over within the 50-mile fallout.
I have some comment to that will not be public.
Who has been requested? You said the county public information officer
Okay.
and the health department director, and who?
Agriculture, extension,
Extension office, and who else? And yourself? So 4?
4 to 5.
Okay.
All right.
So,
We have a motion, we have a second?
They are,
Second.
the first day is the 10 miles, second day is 50 miles. There's several people who have Raleigh EM's going for this, and it's a big event of our, that we're trying to get funded. We go down the day before, because of the motels. But that fund, you know, they hadn't got to me if they've got the fund. If not, we'll just be going down for about 1 day.
Okay.
When is the conference?
It's the last day in October. The conference is October 20th, and this exercise is October 31st.
Okay. All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Any other further comment or question? All approved? All right. Stay.
Next, Juanita Colbert has been working on something that she is asking the Board of Commissioners to help in Graham County to form a grounds committee, an advisory committee that can look at the different properties that are owned by Graham County, and to be able to provide assessments as to any improvements that those facilities may need. As far as this facility, and just to be as I'm concerned, and I've expressed this the same way, is that not to be something that's constantly we're having to put money in, like we're seeing a lot of things with the senior center and other projects we got going on, but to develop a long-term plan of improvement and then be able to implement some of these things as we go. I think it's a good idea to have a committee here locally that's made up, that sees these county properties and can identify some areas that perhaps need some more attention to. I'll be the first to say that I stay on the road, I stay traveling. I don't always notice the weeds in the flower bed. So if there's some folks that would like to examine some of that and be able to get together and come back and bring a recommendation, I don't have a problem. I see it as a group of county employees who want to keep it living good.
Let's see, I know that you were involved with the courthouse. I called one day, talked to one of them, you were pulling up trees or digging up trees or something.
I got them.
You did you?
Some of them
Most
show
of the last
snow.
three.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's good. All right, this is a request that we have this recommendation for a grounds committee, and I'm sure that Juanita, excuse me?
Strictly county employees.
And Tammy Holloway.
And Tammy Holloway, there's actually a list of nominations here. Of course, you had Juanita Colbert, Tammy Holloway, Kim Chris, Michelle Chris, Patsy Moore, Alicia Clark, Andy Cable, David Hyde, Chuck Stewart, and they did ask that a commissioner should sit on this committee or appointee of their choosing.
Well, can we go ahead and do that in one fell swoop? Who would like to be on this committee? Raymond? Yes. Good. All right, we have a motion that we instate this recommendation for a grounds committee with the list of inaugural members.
So
As
good.
stated, we have a motion. Second. All right, any discussion? Thank you, Raymond. All approved? All opposed? Thank you.
Right. Next is training classes for tax collector Tawana Ledwell and Chrissy Odom to travel Chapel and Asheville.
Is this a certification requirement?
It's certification requirement.
Okay, we have a motion?
Come on.
We have a second, any discussion or comment?
I'm taking those are the nearest schools.
Yes, ma'am. Most of the time this stuff's offered out of the school government. Level 1 national.
Christie goes to the one in Asheville, and Tawana will go to the one in Chapel Hill.
Because of the responsibility.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Okay, all approve? All opposed? Thank you.
Next is, we've got a request from the Department of Social Services here. They said that they actually asked the health department to do an assessment of black mold in their ventilation system. They did that assessment. There was no black mold.
If something is working really well in this room tonight.
Yes, ma'am. It's, the cool air is working fine in here. They asked if we could go out and see prices on cleaning the ventilation system here in this building. And we've got a couple of different contracts. Have you heard from any of those?
No, I have not. They were supposed to come down here and look at the building, so probably we'll get something this week. Just wanted to let you know it's coming.
Okay.
Yeah, it is an older building. Sometimes the ductwork and things like
Yeah,
that
and
is
you
starting
do
to
need
flag.
to address black mold in your
But there was no indication of any black mold whenever they did the test.
So
They
it
may
was
be
something.
some of them pipes loose too, because they're in the ceiling.
Well, it's my understanding, I was hoping that David Hyman would have stuck around, that, there's been some modifications to this building, and some of the piping. Tony Williams is doing a fantastic job, and he even indicated that some of the ductwork that is running through this building doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I'm gonna look at two different scenarios in this, because sometimes the cleaning of this ductwork can be extremely expensive. It might be in our best interest to just have it redone.
Well, then what you get.
I'm gonna find out.
Best case scenario.
Probably the big part of it needs retaped.
Probably so. I mean, it may just need to be, have a heating
And
area.
you probably do a lot of that.
Okay, so we make a recommendation then, we'll just go ahead and table this and further
Yeah.
research on
I'm looking into it. So I did not get some of the quotes back tonight to be able to get an action on it.
it. All right.
Next on your list is the request by the recycling committee for the schedule change to go Monday through Saturday, 7 to 1 or 8 to 2, instead of doing,
Let's explain the David Johnson.
Which time?
Which time?
7 to 1 or 8 to 2?
Hey, let's do it.
I think it's a good.
Leave it
plan.
up, that's a good
You
idea.
make the two choices.
Leave it,
Leave it up to
any
Don.
way he wants to do it, sure.
Well, if you go there and say that's when they come in.
You know, when
The only recommendation for the 7 to 1 is a lot of people like myself are going to work, prior to 8 o'clock.
Everything done.
I'm just saying, if,
Donnie's schedule will be better for his men to come around and pick it up. That's what,
Yeah.
his Donnie needs to do.
If it coincides with his meeting.
I make a motion we do this, are you done? making-
I agree with Keith. I mean, I said, let Donnie work it out. He knows what's best.
Okay, we have a motion and a second here as well, was there not?
And add to it, let Donnie.
Okay. All right, we have a motion here, who seconded it? Okay, we have a second. I believe it is, and it's not gonna be any extra expense, it's just
No.
reallocation, so.
So, no.
it'll
It's
be
the same, there'll be 36, you got 7 to 7 from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You got the same amount of hours. We're just spreading it out to the week.
Okay,
There's
it's
not a lot of
Monday-
trash picked up on
Monday through
Sunday.
Saturday. Okay, great, we have a motion and a second, all approved? All opposed? Thank you.
Next for the recycling is to allow citizens of Graham County to bring large furniture items, household type items, directly to the transfer station and be able to dump those without paying a fee instead of just taking them to one of our satellite unmanned sites.
So moved.
Can I state one thing? We need to make sure that I advertise this as residential only.
Yes, you do.
And this is only for household furniture, and I will list mattresses,
Right.
beds,
No construction.
no construction
No,
debris,
that's
no
right.
businesses.
No.
shame construction debris.
Okay.
Inside
One
house,
thing, we had a
inside
motion already
house.
on this?
Yeah, they're already dumping them at every single.
Yes, they are.
Dumping
Yeah,
sites
they
they
are.
have.
Yeah.
They will stop that with no charge, the recycling, but the business that does it needs to pay.
Right.
They're making money. At home, residential does not make money.
The couches and chairs is what makes them live.
Yes, sir.
If somebody puts a washing machine or dryer, they'll stay on because they haul it to Murphy, but.
Well, we'd love to have that, because we make money off our
I
white
know
goods.
it, but they do.
Yeah.
Okay, so with this then, we have, and what I wanted to say, do you have a motion already?
Yes, be
Motion,
sure,
we had a second?
not yet.
With that stipulation.
Okay, we have a second here, and one of the things, Billy and I both are on this committee, and it's an active committee, it's not just me and me. And, we really wonder where it does balance out about, because we are, all of us know, they're sending an extra crew all over the county to pick up this stuff that doesn't get there. Yeah, and that's it.
Just close to the county to pick it up.
Right, and I think that it'll be a service to have it to a charge. And two, if we put that article in there, that notice, we need to let them know about the white goods again.
Okay.
Because it really, if you can go and take it, then it's, the recycling thing is really moving forward. And I'm hoping that we can continue to work out on the issue of the sanitation site, the purchase of that. I know that things kind of held up right now, but we need to continue to pursue that because I think recycling is going to be a big plus. Folks, I know if you don't have a place for them to take it, they're going to take it to bring it, and they're bringing it. I'm excited to see.
Later.
Yeah.
And something else too that they might put in their mind is they think they have to separate.
Yeah, that's
It's all
just
single stream, they
Single
put it in the
stream.
same bin.
Yep. If that, and then that's the reason a lot of people don't do this, throw it in the dumpster.
Yeah.
But especially the one, I stopped and talked to him every once in a while out Buffalo, Schaefer, and, he always tells them, hey, you don't have to separate it. And he'll go to their truck,
Yeah.
help them with it,
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And,
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Any further comment or question? All approved? All opposed? We need to let Donnie know that, so it started right away.
Yes, sir, we'll get that in the paper right away, and then he can go ahead and start that on next, as soon as he feels necessary, as far as I'm concerned. Next is what I mentioned to you earlier about the DOT, the prioritization of the NC road repair. I put down a couple of examples there, NC 28, Robin, et cetera. As you come up with some ideas on some, Mr. Rattler came up with the reflector ideas there, I went up to the stop signs to make them more visible in some of the blind curve areas. Any of those ideas that you have, let me know. We can start a running list, and then we can convene, get meeting with, citizens in the community, other stakeholders, and be able to get a list here that we can prioritize and push for DOT.
Okay. Is it suitable, is it manageable for this board to advertise, ask folks to send information to our office?
We can.
I know it's a lot more work. I know you're good guys and gals, but at least we'll be able to find the common things. 28 without doubt, as a board. And the top of the issues is sliding back off the map again.
Seems that way.
Wouldn't you think
I'll
28
ask.
would already be a priority for them?
You'd think so.
And 129 and 143?
Well, you see, I'm still trying to scroll it down, that I'm chair of the RPO here, and I'm here talking.
well, I'll tell you what, if people wrote in what the biggest topic would be,
We would have I'll put it out in the paper, I'll kind of come up with a little catchy thing maybe with James.
Perhaps we can check with IT, and it'd be easier to manage if we had an online form leading off of our website to where someone could see
Yeah,
an
post
idea
it,
there.
visit it,
but I've talked to a lot of people, and I've not talked to anyone that likes the flower beds in the middle of the bypass.
Okay.
It took 4 years to get it through lane. And Tom Davis, when he went in as road commissioner, and he started helping us, and we got it. But we worked on it for 4 years, and then they messed it up.
One of our third shift police officers, that's where we really get those there.
Oh, yeah, somebody else told that person name, she did.
Okay.
They tore plans and all that.
Yes, sir. I understand.
May I make comment to this, on the issue of making up this prioritization list?
Yes, sir.
World stands, we're supposed to meet again on the 16th of September.
Yeah, either the 16th or the 17th, I believe.
Yeah,
or
I've got it right
the
here,
transit.
Okay, 16th,
Oh, for a regular meeting,
Yeah.
yes.
a regular meeting. We need to try and get that information together, because I think it's in that next week perhaps that the RTO is going to meet.
Yes.
And I would really like to sit down at the table there, for Graham County, really knowing about what the priorities need to be, because a lot of times you just get rushed with it, and it seems that we don't make the right choices. And we want to make sure that we can do things. But 28, without a doubt, I mean, that was, they've already got an earful, I know they have. And on another note, I don't know if everybody here realizes that we lost Joel Stetzer as the engineer. He's still at Division 14, but he's not in that same position, and they have a Mr. Green who is going to be taking that position.
Eddie Green?
Eddie, is it Eddie Green?
I don't know, it's Eddie or Teddy or something
I
like
think
that.
it's Eddie Green, I think it's the name.
What?
Yeah, I think it's Ed Green,
Eddie Green.
Ed Green. So we're gonna have a new learning curve with that, but, Mr. Setzer's still there. But we're gonna make sure that we, bring it to the table and that we can do it. It used to be on a point system. They assign points to the value, but now they've got it divided up into state, regional, division. And I think they're gonna combine, like Division 13 and 14, to try and balance it all out somehow or the other. So when they said that they were still up in the air about it, they are.
Yes, sir.
So we'll find out about that. Okay.
That's right there. Next on your list is, I wanted to bring this to the attention of the Board of Commissioners. I got a request over a couple of weeks, and I asked them to send me more information from an Aspiratus production company. They're out of California. They've done several different shows for Learning Channel, Discovery Channel. They do a lot of your 30-minute shows on different types of emergency services, all different types of programs. They sent over a request to see if Graham County Emergency Services would be interested in them being able to do a demo that they could then take to some of the different channels, whether it be Learning Channel, Discovery Channel, BBC, A&E, whoever it may be, and to be able to film a demo to see if one of those networks would be interested in doing a show in Graham County. I took it straight to Larry and told Larry, I want to get his take on it, and also talk with the medical director. Let that sort of be the guiding as how this should proceed. The medical director is not a fan of it, doesn't like the idea of it at all, and Dr. Gavarino is our medical director. He's out of Silva. And Larry's uncomfortable with it. I'm uncomfortable with it. Don't really think it's necessarily. Obviously, our emergency service here in Graham County do a fantastic job. They get a lot of recognition. They have a very hard job here. I think that some of the aspects of the rural nature of where we live, the amount of calls that we see every year, and how long our medics and rescue services are with patient, it created, the background for what they felt like could be a potentially
Well, it's a unique situation.
great show. Given the circumstances of emergency services, the liability that's involved, we just probably think it's probably not a good idea.
That's what you need is production crew, huh?
Star quality.
I mean, that's how I feel right now, but I'm gonna go with the medical director and your decision, Larry, because
The only thing about it, he knows if he does do it, they'll all fight over who's gonna be on it. His bunch.
Martin retired.
Martin
retired.
Oh, what? You said that, I did.
So that sort of settles that, but I wanted the Board of Commissioners to know that came down, and we more or less took care of it, but I wanted you to be aware that it's
Gentlemen, I should let him back and say, we got too much stuff to do here. Sorry, we don't need this.
Yes, sir.
And Larry, that's your recommendation,
Yes, sir.
and the medical director's recommendation.
Yes, sir.
How does the board feel about making a decision on this tonight?
My
Not
decision
make a
would be
motion, we don't.
with them.
We have a motion not to
Second.
do the production thing.
Second.
There's a second. Any further? Okay, all approved? All opposed?
Good. We sort of covered this a little bit earlier, whenever the discoveries came in. But the updates on the PUV office, as you've seen in your discoveries, that's laid out in the report, close to $50,000. And Jim explained that circumstance as to why the,
This is just another one she's called me, so I wanted to let you know. The State Department of Revenue, North Carolina Department of Revenue had said that she was not a certified appraiser for if the timber was ready to harvest, so we hired the Keith Moss to go out and harvest the timber, so this letter will go back to the state,
So
and
they had crews.
they had it approved, yes. So they can prove that the timber is ready, and then they can move forward with the volume. And if the property owner does not want the timber harvested, then he comes out of PUV, and you'll receive a current back 3 years.
Very good.
Okay. All right, are we still doing this on the last account that I had, we had 300?
Yes,
PUVs?
she's going through them now, as she's
All
going
of
through.
them?
As she's doing her revow, when she gets to that property, she's pulling the PUV.
Okay.
So if there is a PUV that is not doing what they said according to plan, she's sending them a letter and/or a discovery, a bill, and pulling them out. So that's
Okay.
what she's doing. So it's going slow because it
That's
is,
okay.
but she's getting to them.
Very good.
Yes. The one that we had years ago, a couple years ago, did hear back from, what's the gentleman's name? In Stecoa that has the mountain, Tom Thrash. They do have it in with the Forest Service and was going to have a decision, we hoped within this month, about the right of way to get to that property
That's right.
above our homes that we're building this. So that we should know more about that at the end of this month or the first of next.
Is that coming out far over there?
Okay.
yeah.
And two, you know, we have Beverly Elliott, that's really, I had opportunity to go to a meeting with her, who is with Congressman, I'm losing my mind, Nether's office. And I made mention of that, and they said that it's a problem, so we're going to have to follow up on that and see exactly what we can do. Because we have some others too in the county that kind of quote unquote have it landlocked, so to speak, where the requirements of building a road to the property to harvest it is more than what they get out of harvest
Yes.
because of the NEPA requirements and things like that. We've discussed it with Ms. Whitty, and we've discussed it with everybody, so now we need to start talking to some people that can make more inquiry than we're able to make as a board of commissioners. That's interesting though, on the PUV, so that right there, Commissioner Holder and I, before we came back into recess, had a conversation. You know, it's great to have PUV if it's going to be followed. But if it's not being followed, then we can't lose it. I mean, it's just not right, it's not fair. And hopefully we'll be able to find out from this audit and the folks that need to harvest and to follow the plan, I think we need to give them notice and then to proceed from there. Okay.
Okay, new business, this was added in, the fingerprint machine for the jail. I think that came in at
17,
Right here.
765, I think.
It's 17,787.
What if we send this over to business outfit, see how much it's gonna cost, see if it's worth fixing before we obligate to put it for 17?
And see if there's a trade, and see if there's any trade on it. Because they might sell it as a used machine if they fix
without one though.
Well, I thought that he said it was, what, mandated that we have to have?
You have to have it, and Ray, I think in the conversation, we said we go ahead and order it. You know, because of the time factor.
We do.
probably.
In order of this, what was we gonna do with that?